Hello, everybody. Here we are today in our special general meeting on a Wednesday. So let's move to review. So
Yeah.
welcome to Photo Lounge Live here on a Wednesday afternoon because we have a special presentation for you today with Luis, correct? And of course, our friend Jeff is busy today, so he's not. With us at this meeting. He probably will catch up later on when he finish some of the errands that he's running with his neighbor. And but so you have to put up with me, Randall, and David. And so we are here by ourselves, and of course we have Luis, who's meeting up with us today, and we're going to go through the agenda here pretty shortly. So let me get my agenda sorted out here in a second, and I'm going to share. Uh, so um, here we go. Window share. Okay. So for today, let's see. So we have our presentation from Luis. So you saw probably the thumbnail about this, starting searching for wildlife, Sahara and the Atlas Mountains by Luis. Then, oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong button, so I need to go back to this. Sorry, guys, put up with me here. All right, so I need to go here and so the agenda is simple for today. We have uh, the normal welcome. We will go through all the panelists, and please, you that are in the chat already, as we gather, let us know what you have been doing recently. Then we have our feature presentation. In the photo sharing side, I have a couple of pictures from the what I call from the archives. Since you know, have been doing some of the scanning some of the old images, and I got a couple of discussions, follow-up discussions on the AI. And Luis just mentioned, and he will tell you a little bit of when we pass it to him, that he has something to share on photo equipment and a recent incident that he has. And then we will finish our presentation today with the upcoming live stream. So that's basically what we have. So I'm going to stop sharing, go to the other view, and then we will go to we will go here to ask. Let's start with Randall. So Randall, what have you been doing? What have,
Uh, I've been playing gas.
oh,
The 70 to 200 millimeter version 2 VR. And have the neck with the Arc of Swiss. And if you don't want to have that, you can put on the other ring, which will just slap on here real quick, lock in, and then you just attach it to your camera. So now I have the 24 to 70 and the 70 to 280 version 2 on both lenses. And I'm pretty happy with it. I took 2 pictures. Focusing was quick, it's quiet, and I'm happy I got it.
I'm
That's
sure
about it.
I'm sure it will be a fantastic lens. So let's continue here with David. So David, you're on mute, David.
I think he's mute.
Yes.
Yeah, he'll get it.
Mute again. Anyway,
Yes.
it's been it's been snowing pretty heavy here, so I'm inside and I got to do some work in my truck, so I can't go anywhere. Anyway, so that's all I've been up to.
All
Other
right.
than buggering, bothering Randall.
Well, that's always a good thing, and I'm sure you will have some comments on Randall's new acquisition and your opinion, which we always value and here. And
Absolutely.
finally, before we start with you, or after we start with you, let's go with you first for your general comments about your what happened to you recently. This presentation from Morocco happened long time ago, relatively, and then we welcome
Yeah,
everybody that is in the chat as well.
yeah. So what I'll present are going to be a few pictures. Well, I have, I think, 90 or 100,
Oh,
but I'll go quickly through some of them because there is no need to show all the birds that we've seen there uh, in Morocco. But that was last October. I've been recently to Sri Lanka and returning because we were flying, me and my wife, flying through or via the Gulf states. With what's going on there, it was a risk to come back via Dubai. So I ended up buying a different ticket and returning the long way
oh,
via Kuala Lumpur and then Amsterdam. And I've been working the last couple of days. Today is really bad weather. It's been raining a lot, so I'm inside. I'm making this presentation shortly then.
yes. All right. Well, why don't we go straight on? Let me check first. So, Randall, who do we have in the chat?
Well, we have Paul Scubarazzi. We
Yep.
have, of course, us. And then we have like Robert Varner. We also have ooh, Martin.
Martin, yeah.
Martin Heil. Yeah, he's here. And that's all that's showing up. There's only 8 watching right now, with us 4 and then the other 4. That's it.
Exactly. And hey,
Yeah.
Luis, Martin, Paul, so you are in Europe. When we have this special presentation, please invite your friends. I mean, they may
I
will,
did. I
they,
did.
they will be good for them to particularly the ones that travel with you to Morocco that will be interested to hear. And of course, we want to, and I know it's going to be gradual that we build our audience for the people that don't want to, that can watch this at a better hour. And so that's an opportunity for sure.
Yeah.
And so we span our audience back to this. Remember, this was a time frame that we have, which the shop used to have, correct?
Yeah.
And therefore there was certainly some people in England that we haven't seen for a while that hope they are able to watch and realize that we are now broadcasting every now and then on this time frame as well. And one thing is important, unlike what we did last time, we are going to continue the schedule for Saturday, and we will throw the occasional meeting on Wednesday. So with that, let me stop sharing. I might have, and we're going to bring uh, let me here stop sharing, and let me bring your presentation, please, and we can start right away.
Okay. So
Oh,
you see the map. It's a small map.
hold
So
on. Let, oh, why is it not coming?
let
Yeah,
I changed the window here. Can you see it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So last October, I went to Morocco with 5 Portuguese. Well, we were in total 5 Portuguese and 2 Spanish, and the aim of the trip was to go on look for. It was a bird watching tour to the Atlas Mountains and to the interior of Morocco. I'll just show you the map for those which probably from well, that Morocco is in North Africa, just south of Portugal and Spain, the Iberia Peninsula.
Mm.
And it's not far from Portugal and Spain, but what is interesting about Morocco, if you go to the deserts, is that you see a completely different uh, biotope animals because of the deserts. We don't have that many deserts in Portugal and Spain. We do share a lot of the same fauna in the north of Morocco with the Iberian Peninsula, but the further south you go in Morocco or the further east towards the interior, you start seeing different animals, especially birds and reptiles that you don't have in Europe. And
Yes,
because it's not far from Portugal and Spain, it's very popular also for people to travel, even by car or by motorbike to Morocco to experience the desert. So when I was asked if I wanted to participate in this tour, I immediately said yes. I had to arrange a few days leave so that I could have that period of about 10 days that I was there. And so I went and I saw a lot of different animals that I had seen before. I was in Morocco in 2014 with my family,
Mhm.
and I will share some of those pictures that complement what I saw in October.
So let me ask you a question here, since we always go through the. Did you? I mean, obviously, the Atlas Mountain there in northern Africa, uh,
Yes.
ecologically very interesting as well. So did you manage to get? Because most of what we always typically see from Morocco is the coastline and the desert area. But do you manage? How high gets the mountains? I know in Algeria they get pretty high, but how high do they get in Morocco? The Atlas.
Yeah, they get up to more than 4,000 meters.
Woo!
The Toubkal, it's the highest mountain in Morocco, goes to 13,000 feet, above more than that. I
Okay.
wrote down 13,671 feet or 4,167 meters.
Exactly. So you also gain, as you gain elevation, you go to different geographical zones, correct? So you go
Yes, yes. And I will emphasize that as we go through the pictures.
beautiful.
So I'll first show you a couple of pictures of what people, just as a, from a tourist point of view, think about Morocco. You see this little shop.
Yes.
Morocco has a very particular cuisine with lots of spices, and people, the general tourist that goes to Morocco, likes to see these this type of shops. Um, it's they speak Arabic in Morocco, and also Berber, which is the original language of the people that lived there before the Arab people arrived in Morocco.
Yeah.
And their cuisine is known for this type, you see, of this cone-shaped uh, called tagines. These they cook in this type of ceramic,
Hmm.
but they also have the same shape of tagines to keep their spices like salt and other spices that you can use for your when you eat. So that's something that pretty much everybody that visits Morocco gets to experience, and also people that go to a Moroccan, let's say, restaurant outside of Morocco would also know. This is what a tagine with vegetables looks like. This one we actually every day we ate some sort of tagine with vegetables, meat, or a combination of whatever. So it's a very traditional way of cooking, and
Yes.
pretty much as a tourist, you always eat these in some restaurants.
I, I, I agree here with Martin that the gene is awesome.
Yeah, and after 10 days of tagines, you also want something else. But okay,
Exactly.
but there are plenty of options for in Morocco. You're not necessarily need to eat tagines all the time, but it's beautiful because it's the way they cook, and they can you can actually put anything you want, even fish, in a tagine and then serve it. It's just the way they prepare the food. So you see here my first map. What I will show you is, let's say, the way we progressed in Morocco, and then I'll show you the pictures that I took in that area. So we all gathered in Marrakesh. We arrived on the 22nd of October. I was the first to arrive at Marrakesh airport. And then 1 hour later, a Spanish friend of mine arrived. And then, more or less an hour later, the rest of the group that was on a flight from Lisbon arrived as well. The flights from Lisbon or from Madrid, they're not very long flights. I think they take like an hour and a half, plus minus. So we arrived when we all were in Marrakesh airport. Then we finally left the airport, met our guide, and then the tour started the day after. just for the record, this was my first, let's say, organized bird tour. I never went on a bird trip ever with a group. So for me, it was kind of okay. Now I can relax because most of the time I do my own research and I'm the one which is I'm driving and looking for all the birds. This time I was just relaxing. Somebody else knows more about me, and he will also help me looking for the birds
Exactly.
or reptiles because very quickly the entire group knew I take pictures of lizards and whatever. So we started at Marrakesh, which is in the interior. Can get really warm in Marrakesh. I was there in 2014 in July,
Ooh,
and we regularly had temperatures above 45, 47 degrees. I remember 47 degrees is 116 Fahrenheit.
ooh,
I was there with my family under those circumstances, and then going up the mountains, it's really yeah, it's really nice because it's cooler. So we were there in October, so the temperatures were a lot cooler. They were about 25, 28 degrees, which is in the 70s or 80 Fahrenheit. So the conditions were a lot friendlier.
here we are today.
Yeah. So we went up to Okay Maiden, about 2,600 meters, and then we continued to the east between the Atlas and the Anti-Atlas, which is the lower range of mountains more to the east. So we are looking for animals that are not associated with desert conditions, but more conditions that you find in Europe or in the south of Europe.
Mm,
So this is a picture that I took in 2014, but it's the same area that we were this year. You see the high mountains, very dry, and then the valleys in the middle with some vegetation.
yeah.
This is what you normally see in the high Atlas mountains. Another one from the area of Okay Maiden. So this is above 2,000 meters,
Wow.
and but it's still dry because we were there in October, so that's the end of the summer. Although the temperatures were not very high, the first rains didn't start yet. So the conditions are very dry everywhere. So this is one of the birds that most birders want to see in the Atlas Mountains. Is a Musier's redstart. It's a little bird that pretty much only lives in the mountain range of the Atlas Mountains from Morocco to Algeria. Small
Yeah.
bird. This is a northern wheatear.
Okay.
This is a migrating specimen. Then they breed in Europe and in Asia, and they migrate to Africa. This one is taken with the Z8 and the 600 PF.
Uh, love the fact that you got that kind of blur background in front. That kind of frame the bird very nicely.
Yeah, you see, even the I'll show you the picture before. This type of stone is what you have at that location. Very reddish.
Okay.
It's typical of the Morocco desert. You'll see later on as well. Very dry, very kind of iron ore color. So there are a lot of these strong colors in the landscape as well. This is probably a species of bird that you would recognize in the United States. This is a horned lark.
Yes.
They are, say, relatively common or common in Canada and the United States, but less common in Europe. And there is an isolated population in the Atlas Mountains in Morocco. And this is one of the target birds for most, say, Iberian bird watchers, because in Europe you only see them in mountains in Eastern Europe, and here in the Netherlands it's a bird we only see in the winter.
Exactly.
Birds that come down in the winter from Scandinavia. So this was one of the target birds in the high mountains. This is an endemic
Woodpecker.
woodpecker. Yeah, it's the
we lost Luis.
the green, say, woodpecker from Europe. Yeah, in the Atlas Mountains of Morocco, and I think Algeria as well. Not sure.
Yeah. So Luis, we lost your
Yes,
audio for a little. This is a greenback woodpecker. I mean,
it's called Leviland's woodpecker.
okay.
It looks like the green woodpecker that we have in the Iberian Peninsula, or
Oh,
even in Europe. But it's an endemic species from North Africa.
okay. Excellent.
Of course, I always look to lizards. This is a Andriansky lizard. Only lives in the highest parts of the Atlas Mountain. This is a male. I was very happy to see this species.
Wow.
This is a Moroccan picture was taken with the Z52 and with the 50 to 250 zoom,
Wow.
and it's quite sharp that lens.
Beautiful. Wow.
It's a very good lens. It was the best buy for the money you could have for kind of this pseudo macro photography. At least if the lizard decides to stay. Very often they just
So how close
run
can
away.
you focus on that one?
Oh, this is really close. I'm less than 3 feet away.
Okay, so a meter or something.
Yeah. But this was the only of these lizards that actually stayed. He tolerated me.
All right.
This is a day gecko. This was taken with a 600 PF. These geckos, these are diurnal geckos. They are not nocturnal like most geckos. They
Okay.
only live in the high Atlas Mountains. You really have to go above, say, 2,000 meters to see these animals. But these geckos were really, really skittish. You would get within 10 meters and they would just run away.
So so you took this one with a 600?
You ate a 600 PF.
Okay. Ooh.
So this is a false smooth snake. This picture I did not take this October. This is a picture from the last time I was there. This October I saw no snakes,
Okay.
so I had to pick up a few of the older pictures to fill the presentation. This is a species of snake that very small that you also have in Portugal and Spain,
Okay.
and it's a very small, like maybe a feet and a half. This is a
Yeah, I
much
don't know
larger.
another photo, Luis, because typically, as you know, snakes are difficult to photograph, correct? Because either you get a picture like this one, which is a good picture, but then you get only a part of the body, correct? Or
Oh,
you get
typically,
to
yeah.
get the
You
whole
normally
body.
see a snake. Indeed, you normally see a snake. Snakes are very. I love photographing snakes, but then you have to be lucky.
Exactly.
This one was under a rock,
Okay. And it was wet. So
so
it probably was a little bit sluggish, right?
yeah, it was close to water,
Okay.
and then I put my hand on top of the snake, took my hand, and then took the picture,
Beautiful.
and then just let it go. We have to be lucky. I don't like handling snakes anymore. I used to handle snakes more in the past, but I decided to leave them as they are. And in many areas, for instance, in Europe or in the Netherlands, you're not even legally allowed to handle snakes, the local snakes.
Oh,
In Morocco is a different story because in Morocco, if you go to the central plain in Marrakesh, you see these snake enchanters, which
okay.
is something I don't particularly like
Yes.
when
Yeah.
tourists are given a snake to take a picture of. This is, for instance, one of the species that sometimes they do hold. And this is a horseshoe white snake, also very common in Portugal and Spain, and also in Morocco. The one thing that is a good thing, even, and I do that when I go to Morocco. I always check water wells because water wells in Morocco are like death traps for reptiles.
Okay.
I Every time I see a water well, if I'm driving myself, I stop the car and I go and have a look. And there are even uh, people that, on an organized way, go to Morocco just to save amphibians and reptiles from these water wells.
So this snake
Wow.
that you're showing here, that's not that's venomous or not venomous?
No, it's not venomous.
Okay.
It's not venomous, but they will bite.
All those people that handle snakes and they like to have cobras, but they defend them. They take the fans away, correct? Which is cruel.
Yes, there
Yeah.
are cobras in Morocco. I've never seen one. There are also puff adders in Morocco. Those two species are the ones that those people want to have to show the tourists.
Exactly.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I prefer to see them. What I typically do, and I do the same in Portugal. If I see a water well or a water or a hole, if very often there is something there,
Okay.
and then I go there. Yeah, I know the species. I know I can grab them, and I'll take them. This one was a situation like that. He was on a water well. I took him out because I'm holding the snake as I'm taking this picture.
Do they have also problems, or do you encounter problems? Because when I live in Africa, it was actually very difficult to convince the locals, even with the forefathers, not to kill them, correct? Or
I
they,
sup-
so it was always a struggle to say, let them go. They are doing you so well, taking care of rats and vermin, right? But I don't know
yes.
how it happened in. Oops, we lost Luis. So we lost Luis for here. So let's wait until he joins us again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying that. So even with the with the green mambas or with very bad snakes, I mean, but even the one that were not venomous, it was very difficult to convince the people in Africa and where I lived for a while not to kill them. So my wife and I always we're doing educational programs trying to say, hey, for one, this snake is not venomous, leave it alone. But it was very difficult to convince them. So I don't know we will hear from Luis here. So let me see if Luis is back. Okay, so Luis is back and the
Yeah.
presentation is back. And we can
Okay.
thank you, Luis. I was just
Yeah.
making so we were talking
I
about people
I
killing.
heard it. I heard what you said. Yeah.
Okay.
But what happens is most people don't know the difference between a venomous or a non-venomous snake,
Ah,
and people are afraid of any snake.
exactly. Ah,
That's what happens. And very often, I know the generation before mine in Portugal, they used to kill all the snakes that they would see.
exactly.
So I suppose that still happens in many parts of the world.
For sure.
Absolutely. And it's difficult to because listen, if you live in a country where most snakes are not venomous, it's easy to say leave them alone. But if some of the snakes are very dangerous, you
Mm,
are always afraid of any snake.
exactly.
So yeah, no, it's a difficult thing. This is a Montpellier's snake, also non-venomous, but these can grow up to more than 2 meters or more than 6 feet. They all this snake lives also in Portugal, Spain, and the south of France. Let's see if I can change the. Okay, can you see this one?
Yes.
Yeah. The turtle.
Oh, very good. So this is a spur-type tortoise. This picture I took this last October, and we saw several. Well, they were dead, but last October, before I found this one alive, I saw several. Um, I recall the shell.
Uh-huh.
Uh, we were going for a hike, and I saw two shells of these tortoises in the field.
Mm.
But on the very last day that I was in Morocco, I found these. this spur-tide tortoise alive. So
Oh,
I was able to take this picture. It's also in Morocco is a very common pet. People just find them and take them. They're also sometimes sold to tourists, and that's not a good idea. To some tourists buy them to release them, but that doesn't help because they're going to be caught again, and it's a bit of a problem still in Morocco how people handle reptiles there.
yeah.
Um, so those are any species of reptiles and birds that you find in the High Atlas or in the slopes of the Atlas. And after we were in the High Atlas, we moved to the interior. And as we moved further east, we go through, let's say, a sequence of more of a steppe-like environment, some mountains, and then we finally get to, yeah, let's say progressively drier areas until we get to the sand dunes not far from the Algerian border. So as we progress, we cross landscapes like this one.
Okay.
There are areas in central Morocco where they reintroduced ostriches, for instance.
Okay.
So we didn't see any ostriches, but they are being reintroduced in some areas. There are also gazelles and other mammals, but typically it's difficult to find, let's say, a big mammal in Morocco.
Yeah.
This was our accommodation, for instance, in Boumal Nedades, which is already in the east of Morocco. Not really a desert-like area, but more of a steppe. But I will show you a few pictures later. But the colors that you see here are typical Moroccan colors, very vivid, very yeah, a lot of blues, a lot of reds. If I was an let's say well, if you like to take pictures of buildings or details, you would love Morocco.
Yes.
You also see scenes like these in Morocco, or like this.
Beautiful.
Those two were taken with a mobile phone.
Oh, wow.
And then you go to more specialized birds that already, like you see these acacia um, trees with those very long thorns.
Yeah.
This is a desert wheat ear.
Yeah.
This is already a species of bird that you don't see in Europe, or not regularly in Europe, but this is more of a desert species. You have house buntings.
Okay.
These buntings in some areas behave like house sparrows.
Mm-hmm.
This is a female, and the one before that's a male. But this is a typical African species of buntings. Another wheatear. This is a red-rumped wheatear, also typical from a steppe-like landscape with bushes. This is a trumpeter finch. You can see it better here.
Yeah.
These finches also live in some of the islands of the Canary Islands and in the east of Spain.
Okay.
In the east of Spain, there are a few very desert-like areas, and these birds colonized that part of Spain already. But here they are very common, let's say. No, this is another lark, but
Mm-hmm.
this is a Temminck's lark. This lark you only see right in the interior, in the more desert areas. It looks a lot like the horned lark.
Yeah.
This one also has horns, but they are not very visible on this picture. I wasn't able to get the right angle and the animal to show the little horns that it has there. But this is a desert species more.
Yeah.
And now we're getting more to the specialities, sand grouse.
Oh.
There are two species of sand grouse on this picture. So this one here with a white belly, this is a pin-tailed sand grouse, and those are the black-bellied sand grouse. This is a female, and this is a male.
And Luis, those grouse, and you probably can tell me, but it's important to discuss on her. Those are the ones that desert specialists that basically they wet their chest feather to bring uh, water to the chicks, correct?
That's correct. Yes. So we are getting more into let's say progressively into drier and drier areas. These sand grouse also live in Portugal and Spain. These two species. In fact, the one with the white bellied, the pin-tailed, is very rare in Portugal, but in Spain there are thousands of them.
Okay.
And I've seen the black-bellied grouse in Portugal myself. So they are from, let's say, adapted to dry areas, but not as dry as a desert, let's say. That's why they also live in Portugal and Spain. So we actually were here waiting for them close to an area that has a water spring and a small river. So even in October, there is water there.
Okay.
So our guide said, "Let's just wait here for a while," and then they showed up after a while. So you can see pin-tailed and black-bellied, more black-bellied than pin-tailed.
Okay.
But taking a picture like this, for instance, in July and August would be very, very difficult in the middle of the day because of heat haze.
Exactly.
The pictures here turned out really well because it was October and in the morning. You can see that the
Wow.
picture is sharp.
Uh,
Z8 with the
and
six
many of
with
them are in focus, which is fantastic.
yes. What I realized in other circumstances, that's why I thought October would be great. I mean, after 11 o'clock, every picture you take in some circumstances is completely, you can throw them away because of heat haze.
Exactly.
But in October, these pictures turned out really nicely.
And we you probably were using what, uh, 3,200
Ah,
three thousand
okay.
two hundred of a second.
Give me a second and I'll let you know. Because I have a, give me a second. Here.
You know the people
I
that
know. It's,
watching this wants to know about these kind of things.
yeah. So F8, 3200,
Okay.
ISO 900, and I had a plus zero point 0.7 EV.
Wow, beautiful.
And panning, of course, otherwise it doesn't work out. But if they are in a group of four, it's difficult to have them all focused.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It will be one in focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Oh, that's beautiful.
Hmm.
This is a Pharaoh eagle owl. Going with the guides is a big advantage because they know where these owls hang about. Actually, this owl didn't like our presence where we were at first and flew away. Um, Even our guide was surprised that he flew away. Somehow he didn't expect it because this he brings, let's say, bird watchers regularly to this place.
Okay.
But he was fed up with another group of bird watchers and he flew away.
Wow.
Anyway, he flew away to his maybe secondary roost, and we took this picture with the 600 PF. It's a big crop. We did not want to disturb him anymore. But it was very nice to see such a species in the, let's say, desert species.
Oh, beautiful.
It's a bit smaller than the Eurasian eagle owl, but brilliant to see it.
Well, and the environment there with the little cave in the stones, fantastic. Love.
Yes. And again, you see most of the stones are really reddish in color
Hmm.
because of the evaporation. You know this better than me, but if there is a little bit of iron in the soil or in the stones, every time with every summer, the iron just comes to the surface. So many of the stones are reddish.
Yeah.
So this is a species I really wanted to see. It's a Lanner falcon. It's smaller than the peregrine falcon, and it lives throughout Africa and in some parts of Italy and Greece. But I've never seen this species before. But this picture was taken very close to the eagle owl. Was in the same, let's say, area within just a few minutes from each other. They also nest in cliffs, so hence the presence of Lanner falcons and the eagle owl.
Mm.
So this is a spider. Um, what I could find about this spider is a Eusparasus family.
Mm.
I had to justify bringing my 90 millimeter macro, so I had to search for something. So I actually took this picture while waiting for the sun grouse.
Okay.
There were rocks everywhere, and I thought maybe I can find a snake, but no snake. But this was quite a big spider. I don't particularly like spiders, but okay. Found this one.
No.
Also found this Butus scorpion. Probably the same species that we have in Portugal and Spain as well. This is a not very well politically correct given name. It's called the fat sand mouse.
No.
It's not. This doesn't look that fat, but he was there peeking. There he is.
Beautiful.
This
I
was
love.
with the six. This was taken with a 600 PF early in the morning, while waiting for this sand grouse.
Wow.
It was not easy to focus, to be honest.
Oh, but you did very well.
Do they hop or do they just scuttle?
No, no, they don't. No. Well, I didn't see him hopping because I only saw him coming in and out.
Oh,
Once
okay.
I first saw him like this, and once I approached, he didn't come out anymore. They are not
Okay.
that type of. I'll show you later a picture of some that do hop because I've seen them.
Mm.
But these are more, let's say, mouse-like the way they move.
Okay.
I'd seen them in 2014 when I was there before, but this is, let's say, a sharper picture. This is an agama, a bibronze agama,
All right.
also relatively common, also taken with a 600 PF. They did not like yeah, let's say if you approach more than 10 meters, they kind of look at you and then you're kind of lucky. So the 500 or a 600 PF would be good for this type of shot.
Beautiful.
And then we moved further east, and these are the dunes of Erg Chebi. Very touristic. A lot of people go there to see the sunset and go on a dromedaries tour through the dunes. And we were the odd group of people that were there looking for birds. So we were like, okay, we stay here, and everybody was going with these dromedaries to the top of the dune, looking at the sunset, and then coming back. And we were the ones driving early in the morning looking for other stuff. But it's a beautiful scenery, really, really, really nice. We stayed at yeah, in this lodge close to the dunes. It's they do the walls are made of this kind of mud with weeds and kind of dried, sun dried. I don't know exactly how they do it, but it's so dry that it stands strong. Even when it rains afterwards, it still remains solid. It's a typical way of that they build there. And now we're moving more into more species that really are more desert-like adapted. This is a thick-billed lark. This is one of the species of birds that you only find in the driest of the areas.
Wow.
Greater hoopoe lark, also very adapted to desert conditions. They live really in the interior of the deserts from Morocco to Egypt, maybe into Saudi Arabia, I'm not sure. This is a type of bird everybody likes to see. This is a cream-colored cursor. They like it's a wader but adapted to the desert. This was the only one we saw. We actually flew in unexpectedly. Our guide didn't expect to see this species in October. They normally breed and then they wander to other places. He was quite happy that we could find these birds. We took this picture like several of the others from the car as a kind of a mobile hide because everything is so open there. If you would approach by foot, everything would disappear.
Yeah.
And you see the terrain, it's all pebbles and stones, it's flat. You'll see also in other pictures that it's if you are walking, everything around you just disappears. White crowned wheat here, very common, but again, only associated with the driest of the areas.
Wow.
Desert sparrow, this is again one species that everybody wants to see. They are under fierce competition with our, let's say, house sparrow, and they are driven further and further into the interior of the desert. So at this location, we could see desert sparrows, but we could also see house sparrows. These are males and females in the dunes.
Beautiful.
And this is one flying. I tried to catch a few flying, but it wasn't easy. I'm actually on top of a dune trying to see if I could focus on any of them flying away. This was the only decent picture I could take.
It looks great.
Sorry, looks?
It looks very good. Looks great.
Yeah, not bad, but
The good thing that you have here as an advantage is you got plenty of light, correct? So
that's true. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that I had the light from the back. This is also a type of bird you would never see anywhere close to Europe. This is a Fluvis chatter, same location as the desert sparrow. Again, only in the desert areas and approaching, say, where there are palm trees or other trees that grow where there is a little bit of moist, but a typical desert species. Desert warbler. This looks like a washout warbler, very white, difficult to take a picture of because you don't see it on this picture, but this bird can be so white in comparison to its environment that it was difficult to, and it's very skittish. It's always in the middle of the bushes. This is the only clear picture that I could take of the desert warbler. Now you see water here. We are close to oasis, and this water well is there on purpose for bird watchers. That's what I understood. So there
okay.
are natural pools of water, and they do have, believe it or not, some kind of agriculture in the area, and the birds know that there is water there. If it's not exactly here, it's a little bit further afield, but they come here because they know there is water. And these are thick-billed larks. So we just parked the car and waited because there are other types of birds that show up, like spotted sungrouse.
Okay.
These come with the hundreds
Beautiful.
just to drink water. And they do, like you said, Gustavo, they also bathe themselves and take water with them.
Exactly.
These are spotted sungrouse. This is a crowned sungrouse, looks similar, but it has this black, I'll show it, this black line across the beak. It makes it that it's a different species.
It's probably doing what I was describing, correct? Of getting their
Yes,
chest feathers loaded with water.
exactly. So I don't know if they would be breathing there or not. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. But that's what they do. They collect water with their belly feathers and just take it. I've seen it, a few of them doing it. So these a male and two females of crowned sand grouse, and we are again inside of the car, and you can see here the depth of field of this picture. So it's out of focus there, it's out of focus here,
Yeah.
and it's yeah, and it's just pebbles again, sand grouse, and this is
Wow.
what we're looking for coming from, say, Europe to Morocco. Is seeing these really typical desert species that you don't have anywhere close to Europe. And then this peregrine falcon showed up. It's a peregrine falcon, but it's the subspecies from North Africa. It's very often called the Barbary falcon. It's I think it's slightly smaller than the peregrine falcon from North America and Europe. And this is a different, I think, well, it's not the same one as this one, but we saw these two within a question of minutes.
Okay. And they obviously are there for the grouse, correct? I mean, they are.
Absolutely, yeah.
Uh,
So they know there is water there, so they come to for the grouse and for other birds. Until he didn't like our presence, perhaps, and then he just took off.
Beautiful.
Now, you guys can see a bird here?
Yeah,
Wow.
I can see it now.
Yeah. Wow. Very good camouflage. Yeah.
Yes.
I thought the eyes, but then I noticed it's the beak, and then I see the eyes slit right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is an Egyptian nightjar. No, I didn't expect to see these species, but what they have organized there is that like local farmers and they know that some bird watchers can come and they are interested in this particular species. Is that they phone beforehand and then they try to arrange that somebody really knows where they let's say in the early morning they follow some birds or one bird and try to locate where he actually rests for the day, which is not the easy thing to do. And then we arrive as a group. Our guide asks, do you know where he's sleeping? Yes, I know. And then we actually, it was a relatively long drive to get there, especially because of the quality of the roads. And then they point to from a distance. They are actually very careful, not they don't let us approach. This was with a 600 PF and a decent crop,
Although
and rightly so.
typically these type of birds are tolerant, relatively tolerant, but I can see, imagine now. I mean, the camouflage is excellent. Hey, by the way, you have a request from Scubarasi,
Oh,
uh,
okay.
going back to that uh, falcon.
Yeah. Can you zoom in on the sitting falcon? Ah, okay. Let's do it. This one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, this one.
Yes, probably that one.
It's gorgeous.
Wow, and your captures have been excellent. So much definition there. I think you're right that this is not a peregrine. One of those. I don't know the ones in Europe. Probably Kurasi knows because he worked with
Well,
some.
the juveniles look different.
Exactly. That's always all the raptors are difficult, but
Yeah. Because a normal peregrine falcon, if you see a juvenile, you see this similar pattern. They are brownish,
yeah,
and the adults are normally gray and with less bars in the belly.
yeah. No, and he
Kubarazi agrees. It's probably a juvenile. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, we agree. But coming to this picture, it was not easy to process this.
he definitely know where to come for hunting. So so
Absolutely. But this picture was not easy to process at
oh,
all because of the shades and because of the contrast on its feathers. This whole thing here was almost, let's say, um, was almost white in the raw file.
Oh,
I had to darken the tops. I had to make these a little bit lighter to get something that looks like this.
it looks fantastic, and it doesn't look anything abnormal.
No, no, no. But that's the thing, and it's very sharp.
Yes, definitely. Love the texture of the feather in the chest. Incredible.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's me again. While everybody's looking for birds, I take pictures of reptiles. This is Dumerlis fringe-toed lizards. Saw a few of these. And this is Audrey's fan-toed gecko. This was taken with Z52, and I bought an old SP500, and I'm actually quite happy with SP500. It works perfectly with the Z system. And this is a desert wall gecko
Yeah.
taken at night.
Oh, that's at nighttime. Wow.
This is at nighttime with a flash, and I'm actually with one of the Spanish guys that went with me. I think he has his torch pointing to the gecko, and I'm taking a picture.
That's what
And
I wanted to ask you, Luis, because obviously you're in this bird tour, and as you know, birders don't go out at night as much as you do, but uh, except they are looking for owls. But for sure, you have to the opportunities there in the desert to get some pictures from night pictures are fantastic. And these almost
yes,
look like the daylight, correct, Randall?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then when he said it was nighttime, I couldn't believe it.
no,
So,
it's night. Yes,
wow.
the same as this one. Now, Randall, this
Ah,
is a lesser Egyptian gerbil, and these guys hop.
Oh, wow.
You
that's
I
don't
love the
see.
color. Yeah.
beautiful.
But on this particular picture, I remember I was struggling with. They were all getting dark because I was, let's say, relatively far from them, and the SB500 wasn't cooperating. So I had to pump up the, say, the compensation for. I think I'm on almost +5 EV on
Woo.
this picture,
Oh,
just to get
wow.
the extra power and these mice were or gerbils were looking to us. This
Yeah.
and actually the Juan was actually pointing with the torch, and after a while we knew we give him 30 seconds and he shows up again. it was
Oh, wow.
it was
Okay.
quite funny. He wasn't really. Some of them were not bothered with us, but they wouldn't stay still for a picture. But this one turned out okay for what it is in the middle because it was this is the middle of the night with the
Wow.
torch and you're trying to focus and they are looking at you and so I was quite happy when I got this one. Let's say get kind of well focused. Let's say
Yeah, yeah.
It's a great shot, Lewis.
yeah
You can
that's
see the flash, but or the
yeah
effects of it, but it's great. You know,
yeah. I mean it's yeah it's the middle of the night, so there is hardly any other option. So this is very close to those sand dunes. This is called what they call in French the Palmerie of Merguza. So there is like this is an oasis where there are palm trees and people actually they have their own fields where they grow their crops there, and there is this channel with water. And I looked there, but I couldn't find any snake. But I did find African green toads.
Wow. Beautiful.
They actually walk. You see the hind
Yeah.
uh, feet. They
Wow.
are actually quite funny because they were actually kind of walking there. So, I took this picture, yeah, with a 600 PF as well.
Zooming a little of this one. Fantastic detail on the skin. Wow. Look at that.
Man, you can see the gleam. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so this is in an oasis, and you see that they have wet feet.
Yeah.
It was not easy to get this angle because I don't like taking pictures of animals from above. So actually, I was as low as I could, and and he was moving. But this is quite sharp, in fact.
It's excellent.
Maybe I can find what speed I was working on this one.
It almost looks like a plastic model.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
Yeah,
Next
I
time I
know.
will use that. It's a lot easier if I have a plastic bottle than.
Oh yeah.
So I was F9, 1/500th of a second,
Wow.
Wow.
and ISO is 220.
That's not bad. That's excellent.
Yeah, and this is the same species but at night,
Okay.
close to where we were sleeping. There was a water pool also related to. I think that water pool was kind of more related to the sewage of the hotel because they let the water sink in some areas. But it was full of well, there were some amphibians there, and this is a bigger, let's say, toad than the one before, but the same species. I wasn't sure, but it is the same species. This is a different species. This is a Moroccan toad,
Wow.
but we also saw this one on that tour. But this one I took with the Tamron 90 mil, I think, also at night with a flash. Let me just double check. Yes, yes, with f9, 1/200th of a second. No, no, and this was with the Nikon 50 to 250, not
Okay.
with a macro. It's a different species. You see the poison glands behind the eyes are quite big on this species. This
Oh,
lump
wow.
here.
Yeah.
So that's where this particular species have their, let's say, venom. For the rest, they're okay. So we went back to Marrakesh, and then how many? So let's see. So at the end of the trip, the idea was to start in Marrakesh, go to the mountains, go east, and go back to Marrakesh. But I had a few more days leave, and I agreed with that Spanish friend of mine. Maybe we can stay a couple of days more than say the bird tour. So we said goodbye to the rest of the gang, and I went with this other Spanish friend. And by chance, our guide had another tour close to Agadir on the coast 2 days later. So we actually went with him
Okay.
to the coast. We really didn't have a plan for those 2 extra days. I probably thought, well, we maybe get a taxi or rent a car for 2 days, go back to the Atlas Mountains. But we had seen a lot there before. So we ended up going to the Moroccan coast, south of Agadir, which is there. And I had been there with my family before, so I will show you a few pictures from that area, from the coastal area.
Mhm.
So this is the Atlantic coast of Morocco, and the coast extends far south for hundreds of kilometers until it gets to Mauritania and Senegal. And the dunes here, after if you go, let's say, half an hour or 1 hour further to the south, the dunes at the coast already fuse with the dunes of the desert, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you can find south of this location, let's say 100 kilometers further south, you see the same species as you would find in the east of Morocco in the interior, because it's also desert. There are cliffs there at the coast, and there is a species of bird which is very interesting for ornithologists that I will show you a picture in a minute. That nests on these cliffs or similar cliffs around Agadir. But there is water, so there are green teal. These are the European or Eurasian green-winged teals landing on the estuary close to the coast. It's a national park, Sus Massa National Park, and well, where there is water, there is life. So we actually saw a few species that you also see in Central Europe, like these teals. Common red shank, flying around.
Oh, it's
And this is a typical African species. This is a black-headed chagra. They also live in Morocco, but they live from Morocco, let's say, pretty much to south towards the rest of Africa. So this is also a typical African species of. It's not a jay, but it's the kind of behavior that a jay would have, but like a scrub jay that likes to disappear into the bushes and come out. I was very happy to see this bird. I hadn't seen that bird before. Uh, this is a Cyril bunting from quite far, but you have this as well in Portugal. But it's just a nice bird to see. That's why I showed this picture.
It's very beautiful.
This is another nightjar. You see this one?
Yeah.
wow. I mean, the camouflage is fantastic.
I go out again.
What
So this
you
is
really
actually
can't.
this is a bigger species of nightjar than the one before, but look at the detail.
Very
This
cool.
is
Something.
a red-necked nightjar. Was asleep there. And these birds actually breed in Portugal and Spain, and then they spend the winter south of Morocco. So he was actually, say, on the way south. But apparently what the people said, this is an entry of a national park, and they knew he was there already for a couple of days, so they sent us there. But in theory, this is a bird that will not spend the winter there. He will just fly maybe 200, 300 kilometers further south. They tend to spend the winter south of the Sahara, but on the Western Sahara. They breed in Portugal and Spain. I've seen this species in Portugal before, several times even. And actually, I shared a picture of this species earlier on with Chuck when he was running the show.
Okay.
This is the same bird from the front. There we go. Well, this is a combination, almost a stacked photo of about 6 or 7 photos. I combined several bits and pieces of different photos to get to this final result, let's say.
Because of the depth of field?
Because of the depth of field, absolutely.
Wow.
So I was at this, what I very often do is that I take from the same location, I don't know, 20, 30 pictures, but always focusing at different places in the body. And then I use affinity to process my pictures, and then I select the pictures like, oh yeah, this one is a little bit better on the eye, this one is a little bit better on whatever, and then I combine those bits and pieces which are better.
Luckily, these birds don't move at all.
So it's
Well-
a technique. It's a technique you can do with these birds,
Yeah, yes.
but it works out really nicely.
Oh, definitely.
So, do they slumber during the day? Are they nocturnal or what?
They are nocturnal. Yeah, they are
Okay.
nocturnal. So he was kind of aware that we were there. You see, his right eye is open, left to us. But he was very quiet. We didn't actually approach. This is also taken with a 600 PF.
Yeah, you have night yards and what they call night hawk in Texas too,
Yes.
Randall. So
Okay.
Yes.
they
You have-
do typically you see them flying out crepuscular hours, and their patterns in their uh, uh, on the flying feathers or the way the silhouette it's very distinctive. So once you see one, you recognize that these are nighthawks and nightjars, right?
Yes.
But they will come just they will rest during the day, and just before sunset, you will still be flying.
Yes.
Guarantee you can see some of those from your backyard in the sky. Now during the day they are very secretive,
Yeah.
as you can see here.
Yeah. And this set of pictures that I took were the bird is in the shade. So the settings that I used was all of these combination of pictures were taken at f10. The speed was 125th of a second,
Wow.
ISO 1400.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
So
Oh,
I was really I
uh,
was really with a low shutter speed to try to get the better ISO I could, but still f10 because I was really close.
so it's a it's a kind of manual photo stacking.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a handmade photo stacking.
Yeah, but beautiful. A great technique, Luis.
Yeah, and I always use one picture like to make the frame. You see the greens on the side, and so I use one picture as a base for to frame the picture, and then I take bits and pieces of other pictures as long as they are, let's say, perfectly aligned, and then I just mask, say, one picture which is, let's say, sharper on top of the already combined
Okay.
picture.
Aligning
You know,
aligning the photo is a challenge because I sure that you were handheld. Now, if you have it in a tripod, probably you are okay. But handheld,
believe me, it's yeah. If you don't move that much, it is possible.
yeah, no, like we can see.
Very good. We're almost done, guys. So now we're at the coast, and we found a huge group of Eurasian stone curlew, or as you call in the Americas, a thickney.
Yeah,
So there is one and two early in
beautiful.
the morning. There's another one from behind.
That's great.
Now
Like,
look at that eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it matches the beak
Yes.
and the legs.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are also waders that like sandy and dry conditions. These breed throughout Europe in drier. They are more common in the south of Europe than in the north of Europe. But in the winter, they congregate in big groups. There were quite a lot of them here, and they spend very often the winter in estuaries or in dunes, and they are mainly nocturnal also. This is a Maghreb magpie by the coast. You can see the sea at a distance. This is at the end of the day. There is a story behind this picture because we were with our guides driving through the sand dunes and the car got stuck in the sand.
oh,
So we thought, well, it's not our car. So this Spanish friend of mine and us, we just went for a walk while our guides, we did help, but we couldn't push the car. So I said, look at those fishermen with boats there. They must have a truck. So we actually they went there, and with the only truck that that little village had, he actually was able to, with a bit of effort, to take the car out of the dune.
oh my God!
Wow.
And while we were waiting, we decided to photograph this Maghreb magpie, which has this blue coloration behind the eye.
Jeez.
Otherwise, they look identical to the magpies we have in Europe.
Yeah,
This is at the end of the day, but we got the car out of the sand, and we were able to drive further.
nice environmental photo that one. Luis.
Yeah, so because I was like, "Oh, what shall we do?" I became a bit creative otherwise. And because I had the Tamron macro, I had to take a picture of something with a macro, and I went for this African grass blue uh, butterfly, very very small. This is smaller than an inch. This is half an inch.
Wow.
They also live in the south of Portugal and Spain, but yeah, they were very very common at the Moroccan coast.
Oh,
This is one of the ugliest birds on earth. Sorry, not a pigeon. This is a northern bald ibis, very, very rare species.
wow.
Morocco holds the biggest colony of these birds in the world.
So
And
are they kind of like a mixture of vultures or a turkey or?
it's an ibis,
Ah,
but they like
okay.
to look for food in the dry soil. And
Wow.
what you see
Okay.
here are the rests of from a local chicken farm. They throw all the rests in these fields, and of course there are lots of insects, and the ibises just go there and look for insects.
Wow.
I think is kind of eating like a,
Grubs.
yeah, that's what it is. And you see here those spots, those are flies and I don't know what. But it's a perfect place to see them. And believe it or not, there is like a ranger from the national park here, so that nobody approaches the birds.
Wow. That's a fantastic photo.
Yeah, it was difficult to get a even background because the background are those dunes, sand dunes with trees. But there were always other birds in between the ibises, so it was difficult to isolate the ibises. But okay, this one worked out. But this is one of the top birds that you would find in Morocco, at the coast. So this is a Mediterranean chameleon. You have them in the south of Portugal and Spain as well. This picture I took in 2014, not on this last trip to Morocco, but I found it with my son by the coast, very close to where we were. That's why I included here. There are lots of chameleon species in Africa, but this is the only one we have in Europe and also in Morocco. They can vary in color from green to brown depending on the environment, and this one was brownish. He's looking back, as you can see.
Great photo.
Any guesses to what this might be?
That's Cecilia.
That's a, yeah, except that it's a reptile.
Yeah, no, what I mean is it's a lizard.
Oh,
Yeah, this one is a Moroccan worm lizard. They live like worms under the ground in sandy ground. You can see the eye. These specks are sand bits, and
yeah.
they eat termites or eggs of termites or eggs of ants. There is a similar species in Portugal and Spain as well, and there are two of these reptiles in Morocco.
So Randall.
Uh,
So these are lizards that have lost
Oh, their legs.
their
Okay, I
legs.
was going to
completely,
ask. Yeah.
completely.
Wow.
Uh, you can find this typically more like in spring when they approach the surface. Um, but for instance, this one was under a carpet that
Wow.
was just there. You just have to be lucky. I haven't seen many of these. I've seen dead. Uh, um, a friend of mine found one in his garage in Portugal, something like this. Did not know at first what it was, but these are very, very seldom seen. In the summer, they bury themselves a lot deeper, but sometimes you're lucky, close. They like sandy areas where they can burrow themselves. But yeah, sometimes you can find these. And this is the mouth here and the nose.
Wow.
Not a good picture, but an example of also other species that you have there at the coast. This one I took in 2014. Those are Dorcas gazelles. They live throughout all of Morocco, but because of hunting and so they are rare. But there at the park, they are protected. And this one I saw, yeah, in 2014 from quite a big distance, a group of four. And those were the only ones I saw ever. What I saw in 2014 was the scimitar oryx.
Ah, beautiful.
They were reintroduced, especially in that area, some years ago, and they are bred there and also released in other parts of Morocco. This is also a picture from 2014. I didn't see a single one this time. I were in the same area, but yeah, you have to be lucky. This one is from 2000. This one is from this last October. Oden's gull, typical Mediterranean gull, uh, becoming more and more common, in fact, in Portugal and in Spain as well. In the Moroccan coast, they are actually quite common. I didn't expect to see this species, by the way. It's a lesser crested tern.
Mhm.
This is more of a species that breeds in, say, in the Indian Ocean, but there is also population in the southern Mediterranean, I
Ah,
think in the coast of Libya. And when they are not breeding, they can go all along, especially the southern part of the Mediterranean and part of the Atlantic coast of Morocco. The fact that there were two there was, we were just lucky. We saw a couple of birders. I think they were Finnish, or yeah, they were Finnish, and they asked me, "Did you see the lesser crested terns?" And I didn't know. Where were they? There and there by the coast. So we went there with our guide and we found them.
ah,
I think they mentioned one, but we found two. So okay, it was a very nice. Uh,
Excellent pictures. I mean, the focus was fantastic.
yeah, it's focused on.
we lost Luis.
Yeah, he'll come back shortly. But they're sharp. They're excellent.
They are tame. They are not wild, but okay, you see them everywhere. And this was by the coast the very last day that we were there, because then you see this sign Marrakesh or Marrakesh here on top.
Yes.
And the very last day before I went to the airport, I walked to the airport 45 minutes and I saw this early in
Ah,
the morning.
beautiful.
A, a little owl, which was a nice surprise for the very last day, very last morning. It was quite dark here, by the way. I don't remember the settings. Let me just have a look because I have them. Ta, ta, ta. Early in the morning. So f7.1. You never guess the speed. It's very dark. Okay, Gustavo, what speed do you think I took this picture?
1/50. One.
I say 250.
No, 40.
Ah,
Oh,
40.
40. 1 over 40.
One
Okay.
140.
Oh, 140. Okay.
One
ah,
over 40.
Oh, 1
incredible.
over. All right.
Which lens were you using, Louis?
600 PF. I had nothing else.
Okay.
But
And that
if
was
you are
at
still,
7.1. Wow.
The
I was
stabilization.
I was quite far.
Yeah.
But I have enough experience to know that I can go really really low with the speeds on the with the Z8 and the 600.
Yeah.
I'm leaning against the tree.
Exactly.
Well, that makes a big difference, you know.
Exactly.
You have to photograph in these kind of conditions like you were shooting with a rifle.
Exactly.
It's all the same
Exactly.
way.
And the ISO is 560.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Excellent.
Well, this is the last picture, guys. I have nothing else.
Well, fantastic, Luis. We love the presentation. That's as usual, high quality photos, and I mean, you nail each one. And obviously, thank you for giving us all the fantastic picture, but also narrating and telling us about your travel and adventure. So let me start with a questions on that. So, given that you typically do this by yourself,
Yes.
not with a guided tour, and with other birders, because sometimes birders want to see the bird on photograph. I mean, they
Yeah.
photograph them, but only for the record, right? You're more interested to get the right angle, the right light. So,
Well,
what is
in fact, most of them had cameras.
exactly?
So that was and one. There was one a Spanish guy, very friendly fellow. He took a telescope and not a camera. He was like the typical birder.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
there is another. Well, they are good birders. They are on eBird as well, and they and especially one of them knew all the names in English, Portuguese, and Spanish, even the Latin names as well. So it was great. But it was nice to be in such a group because then I could concentrate on looking for something else.
Exactly.
and it was a fantastic group. The guides and the driver as well. Uh,
Yeah,
Ibrahim was
birders.
the driver, and Hamid was our guide. Was really really nice.
So it's good to have guides that know where to go. With birders, they usually use binoculars and telescopes, but they also have notepads and stuff, and I think they
Yeah,
have also an app where they can, if they
yeah, yeah,
spot a bird or something, and then communicate with people.
yeah.
Yeah.
If well, even I do that. I mean,
Okay.
The Portuguese contingent, they use eBird.
Exactly.
Okay.
Here in the Netherlands, we use a different site or application. We call it there is observado.org, and
Okay.
that's not only for birds, but it's actually for anything from plants to insects to mammals, you name it, and you can put it there. And also with pictures and so on. That's the app or the app or the let's say the platform that I use. But I normally use that platform only for birds, just for the record. Anything else I normally don't use. I'm not that fanatic in the sense of having to put online everything that I see.
Exactly.
But
You
it's a
know,
nice resource to look for locations and also for identification of species, or well, at least to know what exists in a particular area. Let's say.
yeah, because they typically, they would typically have a list of things that they want to see, uh,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
then as soon as they see it, they want to move on to the next target in the list. Well, you probably, as you see it, then you start thinking, how can I get a good picture? What angle should I move here? Try to approach it. And so there is always
Yes.
a potential conflict. So
Yeah.
anyway,
It
Luis,
was not. That was not the case. It was really nice because one of them had also, in fact, one had a Z8, the other one had a Z9 with I think the 400 2.8, and one had the Z8 I think was with a 500 PF. If I'm well, he will probably see this later, but he can correct later. But so it was a group of photographers and birders. It was really nice.
typically photographers and bird get along well, correct? But people have to understand that sometimes there is slightly different, yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
right? And I mean, birds, most of birds are great people, but they are doing something that is slightly different to what we try to do as a bird photographer, correct?
Yeah,
And indeed, you are looking for landscape and the lizards and the other reptiles, and if you have a mammal, and then it's a good like, hey, let's stay here. Let me get that one, correct?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
So that's
yeah.
fantastic, Luis. And as usual, so we're looking forward to your next presentations. You have time. We got presentation coming up
It's
here. So
it's great to have time because I have to go through a lot of pictures.
no, that's you have plenty of time. We you will see later on. We got our schedule like I want to have all the way to April, and so if you obviously when we next time you present, we will throw an additional Wednesday meeting so that we can do it on better hours. And again, for those people that are watching this, that are in the time zone that is good for Europe and,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
places, please let us know, and we can always accommodate the occasional meeting on the Wednesday afternoon here in the United States, so that it's
Yeah,
in the evening in the Europe, and you guys can watch it without having to suffer as much as usual.
absolutely.
So that's good. So let's get back to our presentation. So
Very good.
let me see what we have. I think we were going to do the photo sharing session, and after we do the photo sharing, the initial photo sharing session, which is some photo from me, um, then then we can go back to you, Luis, and perhaps Randall,
Yeah,
to say
I'll
something about
prepare that.
the lens. And I think David has some um, uh, comments on the lens, and particularly the Arca Swiss, that lens that belong to Randall, some of the things that he has investigated about. So let me do the photo sharing. Let me go back here quickly. This is not going to take long, so this meeting probably will be shorter than our regular Saturday meeting. So let me see here. Let me go back to that. So on the photo sharing for today, as you know, I have been working a lot with my archive. I'm digitizing some of my photos. So given that, oh, I'm touching the wrong place. So given that this is in Europe and we are in the spring already, I show you some pictures that I took many, many years ago. And this is actually from England when I was living there. In the spring, you have all these, uh, I see the bluebells, and this is the underground. It gets carpeted with a lot of beautiful flowers. So this was taken, I believe this was taken in 1991, around where I live in southern England, south of London. Yeah? But I always love going for walks during this time of the year, looking for this type of photos. Yeah? So this was taken with Fuji on my probably on my F3 HP, and local walk in the woods. So also from England, and so for some of you that are not so familiar, so this is actually from the Dorset coast, the so-called Jurassic coast. There are some beautiful bays. Again, this is taken, I think, in either 1991 or 1992. And there are some beautiful beaches, and they almost look enticing and tropical, but the water is still quite cold. But it's fantastic hikes and very popular. I don't know how popular they are. I'm sure they are very popular still nowadays, but you can see here. So this is the southern coast of England, uh, in Dorset, right? Beautiful hikes. Obviously, uh, the how good is your hike depending on the weather. And that day that went with my wife, we managed to get excellent weather. This is one of my uh, uh, favorite photo from that trip, which I recently cleaned and digitized. And you can see the rugged coast of England here with all the all the kind of cliff, and the beautiful colors of the sea. So this is a famous a place also on that. I think it obviously is a arch in the coast. It's called the Doodle Door, and one of the most beautiful uh, beaches on that area of southern England. And you can see here, I mean, that's that. These are somebody here in the frame. Obviously, they don't have the resolution that we have with modern cameras, but I was able to digitize and get a reasonable good image. We love to go back and do some of this walk. Beautiful, beautiful, but you have to be lucky with the weather conditions. Right? Yeah, better to have been there once that never have been and never watched this. Okay? And this is another view of that coastline. From that hilly area, see there's a car park at that time that were like 30-minute walk from this, but you can see somebody here in the screen going down a path into the beach. Now the beach look here like a nice enticing sandy beach, but it actually is made of relatively large pebbles, and most of the southern coast of England is made of. And as you can see, the water is quite cold. There's a lot of people sunning themselves, but only like two or three in in the water. Eh? But it still makes for a very spectacular landscape. And I'm sure that with modern cameras, you can do fantastic photography around this area. So that's what I wanted to share from my archive. All right, as I continue to go through some of my older photos. So again, this was taken I think in 1991. So before we go into this discussion here, let me minimize here for a second and go back to the other view, which I cannot grab the image. Let me stop sharing uh, my mouse is not working. Uh, oops, no, not that one. Okay, here we go. All right,
Where's your cat?
I think he's sleeping back there.
No, he could fix your mouse.
Ah, there you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he's sleeping, so it's not helping. Right,
Not
David.
helping.
Yeah. All right, Luis. So you said when we were getting ready for the presentation today that you wanted to share some. Uh,
I think I'm sharing already. If you have a look,
yeah. I'm sorry.
I th- I think I'm
Yeah,
sharing
he's
already.
sharing. Yeah.
You're. Let me see if I can grab it. Hold on a second. Need to get out of here. All right. All right. So let
Okay.
make this big. I can make it big. So what happened,
So
Luis?
what happened? I had the Z8 and my 600 PF, and let's say next to a table. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I said Z8, the Z9 and the 600 PF, and I thought it was stable, and then somehow the whole thing rolled and fell.
Whew.
And let me see if I can show you the next picture. Okay, can you see this one? Yes, I
Yes.
think you can. So you see this rim got
Yep.
bent
Okay.
and was separated from the rest of the body.
Yeah.
And I could not screw this back. It was really impossible. This metal rim just 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 bent with the lens. So I was able to unscrew the lens. I was worried about having damaged the 600 PF. That was not the case. I tested it immediately with the Z8 and it functioned perfectly. And afterwards, I used it several times, no problem whatsoever. Actually, I used it quite a lot later. But the Z9 was a problem. I could not I could not attach this back, and these things came off.
Wow.
I don't know if Roy can explain exactly what the function is of these, but they were placed in openings. I never realized, like in 3 or 4 places, like here on this side, and then one on that one. And I thought very naively, I can screw it all back.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Well, I could have if the rim was not bent, so nothing worked. So and I couldn't screw, not even the plastic lid. It wouldn't screw back in.
This
Uh,
the protein is made on purpose to have a point of weakness there. So if it basically the actual mount will bend and come apart rather than damaging either the camera or the lens. Because you don't know, Luis, if you recall, but Roy now a couple of years ago,
mhm.
he dropped his C9 with a 100 to 400 millimeter,
Oh,
correct?
I remember this story, but I don't know the details.
And then it was the mount itself that bended. I don't know in what fashion, whether similar to you, but indeed, uh, even in the past, I see Deacon used to have 5 screws on the mount. Okay? Now you
Hmm.
can see there is only 4,
It's
and
only four.
probably they build it on purpose to be a point where the two things can come apart and absorb part of the shock. But
Well,
next time we meet with Roy, we check with him. But I see it looks very similar.
a very good idea. Anyway, I had all the parts, I had everything, but nothing worked. But I will come to this in a different moment. But because I was abroad, I was not in the Netherlands when this happened.
Yes.
Then I thought, well, I'll throw a request through my travel insurance. So I
Mhm.
took these pictures and I went through the travel insurance that I had damaged something, and then I selected was a camera, and it was happened this and that. I sent them the proof that I was traveling, so the airline tickets and everything. And then the toughest question was, how much do you think it's going to cost? And I was very naive because I thought, well, so I just say 200 euros. And ended up being like 600 euros,
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah.
roughly, plus
What
minus.
was it? Was it for the shutter or was it for the locking part of the lens?
Well, the thing is, when this happens, they have to, they said they replaced a print something, which I don't know exactly what it is. The I would have to get the paper. In a few minutes, I go upstairs and come back. But they had to also test the focus. They substituted the rim. I don't know exactly what else. And then they had to test the focus. But okay, those things are not cheap. They had to realign, I don't know exactly what. So that was the cost. Anyway, I got all back, but my own risk was 60 euros. So I paid 60 and the insurance paid the rest.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's good.
And that was
But
your
it's
regular travel insurance. No, it was not a photographic insurance.
no, it was a travel insurance. And
Really?
I had very good experience with that, but I had to prove to them that I was traveling. So airplane ticket back. It was all, and it was true. So I first put, well, it costs so much, and then they said, okay, so you get already the difference. So it's approximate. So I got like 180 euros already
Okay.
ahead, and then they said, send us a receipt when you have everything. So when I was back, I went through the camera shop here where I live, delivered it. A couple of weeks later or so, I got the reply saying it's going to cost so much. And then I sent that. I said, okay, just repair it anyway. And I sent that to the insurance company, and then they paid me back the difference. So I
Beautiful.
have no reason to
Good.
complain. But I
No.
don't want to
Excellent.
let it. I don't want to let it fall again. And this is a picture when I got it back.
Fantastic.
So and then it's completely repaired, and it works. I tested it yesterday. I got it yesterday back, and it works. So
Sorry that
I
happened to
say
you, but at the end of the day, I mean, that's what these cameras are built in such a fashion, and that's what you have the authorized Nico repair uh,
yeah,
shop, right? They're repairable for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
Louis, it's the flange that sets against the lens. It looks like that was cracked in, and so they replaced that. But when you
yeah,
look at it from the front view, right where there's two screw the screw there on the on about the 230 position and yeah, down there, you
yeah.
can see how the flange changes color there.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it looks like to me it was cracked at that position.
Yeah.
Well, these cracked indeed afterwards.
Okay. Anyway, I
Anyway,
dropped.
it was
Yeah.
bent and it was not working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But it's but when I here it doesn't look that bad, but it was not aligned, and I was like, oh my
Yeah.
god. I was not
Yeah.
even thinking about the camera. I was thinking about the lens
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
because the camera looked okay, and then I realized the problem was the camera and not the
Oh,
lens.
wow.
But I was able to unscrew the lens under these conditions. It was not easy,
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
but okay.
Yeah. I had my 100 to 400 fall off when I was in Aberdeen, and it bounced on the cobbles,
Oof.
and it cost me 1,500 Canadian to get it repaired.
Okay.
And now that lens has two serial numbers. It has one serial number that you see when you look at the lens, and it has
Mm-hmm.
a second serial number that it writes in the XF data.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh well.
and when the XF data serial number, that's the original serial number. But
Wow.
they replaced a lot of pieces on it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when we go to a different subject, I'll just walk upstairs and get the paperwork. Maybe you guys can understand exactly what they replaced. Because
No,
I read it and I didn't quite understand what it was.
perfect, perfect. So anyway, here what we have is let me switch this off from Luis here. We still have Luis in here. So I'm going. What Luis is? Let me go back here for a second. Okay, Luis.
Drinking again.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, good.
But I just go upstairs to try to get the thing.
So anyway, so this is a little bit. It's not going to take long. Short follow up on the AI discussion that we have the other day, because obviously, as we talk and the experience that we show based on restoring using AI, I just noticed actually today that oh, did it wrong again. That in Photoshop now you have a couple of options under the menu called filters. Okay, typically I go there. If I want to invoke, if I am already in Photoshop and I want to go back to camera roll, you will go under filters and then you select camera roll, and also you have uh, add-on software like Topaz that you can invoke some of those software through that. And of course, here, because these are digitized photos, they are TIFF images. So you basically, they don't go like an NFE into Adobe Camera Raw, they come directly into Photoshop. Okay. So you can see here a photo of I think this was taken in 2001 of my son in Arches National Park, right? And as you know, I have been going through my old photos, and this particular photo that has some sentimental value are the one that are having some priority first on my digitizing effort, right? And this photo was uh, or this was digitized after it was clean. So it was I cleaned the photo with some of the uh, procedures that I explained the other day, and then it went into the scanner and I digitized it. Now, they came from film, they came from Fuji Belvia 50. So the colors actually kept pretty nice. Much better colors kept on this one than in the Kodachrome. Right? And what you can see is that if you zoom in this photo, and I zoom in here at 200%, you can see that there's still quite a bit of noise, and that's probably the grain of the actual film, correct? And therefore, here my son doesn't look as sharp as I do. Now, typically, because there is always some small specks of dust and stuff like that, the filter, the infrared filter, soften the light. So when you inspect it with a loop, you will find that they still have some additional resolution. So one of the things that I use, as I described in my workflow, is I will go and denoise this photo, okay, using Topaz, and you get slightly better resolution. But as I mentioned early on, I discovered that now there are some AI models in Photoshop for denoising, and they call it denoise and sharpening partner models, right? So what you can see here, this is the original, and this is after I use what I use regularly, and I will.
Topaz. Yeah.
You can see it has regained some of the details, correct? Just doing using my subscription of Topaz, which is a plugin into Photoshop, and that is very good, correct? So now let's see what happened when I go through the photo through this partner model, and you can see the partner model. Uh, Slightly better improvement, not as much, but indeed it has uh, some small improvement. So instead of using a plugin, it basically used uh, for several different plugins, which they call partner models, and that can go everywhere to produce the best fit for your image, right? And as you can see, this is the final image. Now, at this scale, it doesn't look that much different, correct? But if I were to make a print or show him in my monitor, this final image will be a lot better. Now, so obviously, uh, restoring these images, correct? There is a little bit of a work, but you can get almost as good quality as the original picture if you go through the process that I described for cleaning them, scanning them at a proper high resolution, using some of the newer uh, technology like denoising and sharpening. You can get an image that you can print big, even when it was a slide that was taken more than 20 or 30 years ago, right? And some of them you can even restore the colors if the color have faded a little bit. In the case, the colors have not faded and they will still look quite okay. So those are the ones that has sentimental value that is worthwhile spending in my case my time here restoring. But obviously this is what we were talking the other day. For me, I think this is a great use to AI. I typically don't like to use AI. Try to live within the bounds of what you observe, correct? These are basically, you can see there not much different between the original photo and the final product, but it has a lot better quality, correct? So we're taking advantage of the modern tools that are available at our disposal, right? Now, for this particular one, there is a catch, right? Because if you already subscribe, let's say, to Topaz, you have it as a plugin, right? But using this AI model, in principle, you have access to all the potential models that are available, right? In this case, I can tell you, Adobe ended using a Topaz model. Now I have an older version of Topaz. You probably use a newer version of Topaz. Uh, but there is a catch. And here's the catch, okay? With your regular subscription,
Yeah.
after you use it a couple of times, it tells you, hey, you can only use this model, but you need to get your so-called credits, okay? And I don't know where you can see it there, but they have different plans for credit. So whether I eventually will use this, I don't know. They have to show me that there is an advantage to even have small amount of credit. Will be like you see here. Uh, not,
I didn't see much difference between the Topaz and that AI. So
no, there is a small one, and in other photos
yeah,
I notice it's better, but it could be that I'm still using an older version. And again, Randall, for me, it had to be a lot of improvement from this model for me to move away from my workflow
yeah,
digital pass, okay? Because I
yeah,
prefer to pay, even if I had to make an update of my Topaz software, I would prefer to pay that than actually pay $99.99 extra to Adobe to get this option. But it's good that we have that option, correct? So
yeah,
ensure the landscape here of what these AI models can do, particularly if you can use all the available models, correct? Because if you were to have, let's say, like Mr. Like Jim uses ChatGPT, correct? In principle, here through Adobe, you will have through your subscription access to, Gemini and ChatGPT and Grok and all different models, and there may be models that eventually, they will leapfrog each other, and there will be ones that are better than others, right? So this is a way, perhaps, I'm not ready to do this, but since
yeah,
I found it yesterday, and so hey, this could be an interesting as part of our bigger discussion on AI and how this AI is impacting photography and how it's impacting even our workflow. Right? So I thought it was of interest to us here to go and have this discussion, but as usual, there is a catch, and the catch is
yeah.
typically money, correct?
Exactly.
Uh,
How many pictures can you do with like 3,000 credits?
I don't know, Randall, because I don't typically, even a regular subscription has a lot
Uh-huh.
of credits. So sometimes if you use remove, right?
Okay.
Or or use content aware expand if you want to change expand a little bit of the margin, it uses some credit, but I had never have a limit here for the credit. And when I use this one, um, yesterday. I did a couple of photos to show it to you, and then immediately sent me to the upgrade your credits. Right? So it probably the amount of credit that you can use on a monthly basis for this AI denoise and sharpening is different. Uh, uh, like any tool, we will have. For me, it had to have to get some money from me. It had to have tremendous amount of benefit. Correct? And at this moment, like you concluded, it's not that different from what I can do, and I'm more in control because I always, as we discussed last time, I'm hesitant to put through an AI when your image goes out of your computer into their processing center and back. Right. So I'm still in favor of using either local AI or using the software that I have in my own computer. Right? But I noticed it. Right? I haven't seen that discussion, and I thought it was good to have today, as we always, this is the changes are very rapidly and fluid. Right? So one day you find one thing, and then they do another update, and you find other possibility. Definitely restoring the images and how much we allow them to be manipulated outside our computer is kind of the decision that we had to take. So anyway, so that's what I wanted to share. Now, while so let me stop sharing here. Uh, Let me stop sharing for a second. We'll go to our other screen. See, it's giving me a trouble sometimes. Okay. I know now why.
I did get a security update on my Mac, so
Yes,
it's at 2.6 now.
yeah,
So
which is good. I typically
yeah.
don't get too much trouble with those. Let's get this one now here. All right. So Luis, so you were going to comment something, and after that, Randall and
Okay.
Yeah.
David, before we go to the upcoming and close the meeting for today, uh, you may want to discuss something about the Arca Swiss in the 70 to 200 because it's pretty interesting. Obviously, it's a beautiful lens, and Randall has a limited experience because
Yeah.
it arrived when this morning or yesterday. So I'm sure he will get better review of the lens in the future. But it definitely, I think, is the shape of things to come from Nikon uh, with the new motors and the faster focusing. Okay. All right. So Luis, you
Yeah, they what they said they replaced. It says an encoder mechanism had to be changed.
okay.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Encoder mechanism, and also it says, well, it's written in Dutch. Print lens communication. I think the print they mean like a circuit, an electronic circuit,
The
something.
lens with the camera probably.
Yeah, so it could be more complicated, and then of course they said they cleaned the old camera, which is also always a good thing, and they had to reassess the autofocus system if it was working properly, and so that
Oh,
costs money.
that's all right. But hey, it was that's what you get insurance for, correct?
Yeah, and I hardly make use of it, so
Is
well this time.
that's good. All right. So let's before we get into the old copy, um, Randall, so and David, can you make some comments about because this is important in as much as this is the first of the Nikkor lenses that come with a Arca Swiss. Yeah, put it on a profile. can see that they have the little slot for the Arca Swiss. Now,
Yeah.
so you have two screws, so you can still put another plate on it, okay? But it has also those little, and this is fully detachable, correct? So did you find it fiddly to take it off and on the lens?
No, no. So, like on my lens, okay, I got a collar. I'm not going to use the foot. But in order to get the foot on and off, you loosen this up right here.
Okay.
And then there's a little switch on the back, which can turn. And if I get my hand on it, oh, I tighten it. I had it loose just to show you, and I just tighten it. So it can turn, right? Turn the
Exactly.
lens.
Exactly.
And that's how you get it off.
Uh-huh.
Now, the only thing I've noticed that's different between the 24 to 70 and this one is that the range is the far focus ring, where on the 24 to 70, it's the closest. So I have to get used to that. And, but
That's
I
nice.
like the color. There is no window to it. It locks in place. And I'm not going to hold this all day, but I'll just have it in the bag, whatever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
The
sometimes you
tulip,
need so the hood that you have there, Randall, that hood, does it have the little window so that you can rotate your?
yes, it does,
Okay.
and it has a little switch so that a locking switch. So you have to
Yeah, the
plug.
regular locking
Yeah,
switch, but it had
yeah,
that little for neutral density lenses and
yeah, for
filters
the filters. Yeah.
and the polarizer. I like those. I like those. So that's very good. That's very good. But go show again the food. So the issue of the food is
All
it,
right.
it's
So
very long.
apparently some screws were supposed to come with it, and I checked the box. I didn't see it. So
Well, and what we're talking about, and David, put that one so that David can talk because he have been investigating this subject. Put the
You just hold the foot up. It's
put it in front of your face so they can closer to the camera, Randall, so they can.
okay.
no, actually closer. Okay,
Ah,
now it's in focus there. You can
exactly.
Yeah.
see on both ends of the foot where there's place there for bolts to go in for the Arca with the Arca Swiss plate normally has bolts so that when you put it in your mount, it doesn't slide off. And when Richie did his video, he was alluding to that. He didn't say anything other than if you're using a lever mount, you have to watch it because it may not go tight enough. And if you don't have the bolts in there and it's not tight enough, then your lens will slip off. And I'm a bit concerned about this because it's something that Nikon didn't do for some reason. Because the way I look at it, they can get a kilogram of bolts for probably cheaper than
Yeah.
to write the specification for the bolts. You know, and 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 I inquired to Nikon through my camera store about that because I want a resolution to this because I can't order bolts to fit in there without the specification, and you can't order them from Nikon. So we got half an Arca Swiss plate. We don't have a complete one yet.
Yeah, and that's a very important safety feature. I remember about uh,
Because we've all had lenses bounce off the ground.
the 3 years ago that I mentioned it to John Ishii because I noticed that he bought a third party Arca Swiss to put it on one of his lenses. And I say, don't remember to put those little. Uh, uh, and let me grab one lens so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I've
Or
got it.
something like yeah. So they said it's either a quarter or 3/8, and this looks like it's
Yeah.
No, like that. That's a quarter. I've got
yeah.
my 180 to 600 here with an Arca
Uh-huh.
plate on the bottom of it.
Yeah,
And
you
it's
can
got
Yeah, there we go.
and
Yeah.
you got the bolts there. Yeah,
see this one here
yeah.
and that one there.
Like you need them on there. It's a
Yeah,
safety feature.
yes, because let's say you have your regular Arca Swiss that you screw after you put it and you screw it, and I can show it on my monopod. Basically, if that Arca Swiss were to get loose a little bit, your lens will be able to slide, but it will be stopped by these little
Yeah,
screws.
yeah,
And
like
not
yeah.
having those screws is is potentially dangerous, correct? So the question from David is why they didn't include it? They should make it an option that when you buy that lens, it comes with the screws or not. Like this third party foot, correct? You
Well,
have the option, right?
but what
Well,
I
yeah.
did is I bought extra Arca Swiss plates to put on the bottom in the meantime. You know, so it's still the same way that it used to be without an Arca Swiss plate, because you
Yeah.
got to put an Arca Swiss plate on the bottom so you
Yeah.
don't have the problem.
Yeah, I'm rechecking the box just to make sure nothing else.
It's not there, Randall,
Yeah.
because like Richie, he didn't say that they're not there, but the way that he did it in his video, it admitted to it. You know,
Yeah,
Okay.
there they
Okay.
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Because he mentioned what he mentioned, and I'm going to grab my model part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good to have those for security. Yeah.
Well, it's Nikon makes enough money, and because it would cost them more to insert those bolts into the plate than it would for the bolts.
Yeah,
You
you can
know?
see this
Yeah.
is an Arca Swiss on this
Yeah.
Gizmo monopod, but this is the clamp style. So Richie said that you cannot use it with the clamp style, which that doesn't make too much sense.
No, you can always use it with everybody, every time,
Exactly.
right?
But the regular Arca Swiss is not the clamp style; it's the screw type style. Those little
Ah.
those little bolts are
Yeah.
especially good for
Yeah.
the
Keep it from sliding.
the
Yeah.
one you screw because if you get the clamp doesn't get loose. It's either
No.
clamp completely
Yeah.
or off.
Yeah.
The other one that has the little the more traditional one, that one actually is where you need the screw. Now I have it. I put the screws all the time because it's a good safety feature. Sometimes you use somebody else's tripod or something. But indeed, I think David is doing a good research and working here with Randall. Definitely, when they
Yeah.
finalize that research and they find the type of screw that is needed, probably
Yeah.
going to the show we mentioned. Because if you are going to buy that lens, it's a great idea if you get those screws.
Either
Yeah.
that, you got to go and put another plate underneath your Arca Swiss plate.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which defeat the purpose, correct? So
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there is a ridge right here. Okay. For the locking clamp. So
exactly.
just,
Yeah.
if you're going to do it without the screws, it's going to be
Well,
difficult.
they're like
Yeah.
they're 99% there. If they didn't put the screws in because of a patent or whatever, well, you can always have a half a dozen screws in a plastic bag that's sent with the lens.
Yeah.
And what you said, David, I mean, they machine because what I was afraid of when you first mentioned it to me, right? I was afraid that there was not even the holes for the screws, correct? So
No,
they
no.
machine the holes, which is the difficult portion, correct? But they didn't include the little ball which get installed. I think in all these third party food they get installed with
Mhm.
a Allen key, correct? They have a small Allen key and then you put it
Yeah.
on. See Randall is showing so
Yeah,
how.
see what they've done, and Randall can show it, is
Yeah.
that they actually put a special metal insert into the foot for the bolt,
Exactly.
Yeah.
but they didn't put the bolt in.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
know, and so they're like they're most of the way there, and
99%.
for the life of me, I can't figure out why they would do something like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
Anyway, guys, so let me go to what is upcoming, and then we call it for the day. And I say, Luis, again, fantastic
Thank
show.
you.
So let me make this one here big, or slightly bigger,
Yeah.
and
What I realized in the meantime about what they replace in my camera, when they say print, those are printed electronics. So those are like in the old days we had to
solder,
uh, to
solder.
solve those bits and pieces of electronic components to make one of those epoxy plates. And
Exactly.
now they're all printed. So somehow there was like a printed electronic thing that makes the communication between the lens and the camera had to be replaced. So
yeah, you might have lost a little board or something.
yeah,
Anyway,
So this is what is upcoming, guys. As I said, we early in the show we have uh, uh, lineup of presentations for all of us to have in our discussion. The
hmm
one that is already progressing quite well is a presentation from Anita Stewart on Madeira. She had done a couple of trips to Madeira and taken fantastic photo. I have started to work with her. Looking at some of her photos for the inclusion, they are fantastic. They are going to be very close to you, Luis, to your, and I'm sure you have visited Madeira multiple times, but they would to see a Canadian eye perspective of the island of Madeira. Okay?
that's nice.
And the images are beautiful.
It's
Uh,
gorgeous.
the narrative of Anita. So that's what's coming. I think this is scheduled for May 16. Now, our calendar is we're going to have our image review coming on April the 4th. Right? So we start preparing some of your images. And then at this moment, and this, we got to confirm, we have from the astrophotography series, we have line painting like by Robert Rosado. We can always modify those if Robert is not ready. I think he start working on some of that. That will be on Saturday, April the 18th. Then we have the image review on May the 2nd. And finally, of course, I've mentioned before, the Madeira on the travel photography series, the Madeira Portugal by Anita Stewart, and that's on the May 16th. So if anybody else want to make presentation, short presentation, non presentation, let Jeff and I or Randall or David know, and we will try to put it on the schedule. As I mentioned before, I do prefer to have stuff in the pipelines, work with some of you to make sure that that it's not a last minute task on anybody. Right? So with that, reminding already to the April image review, which is coming in a week and a half, you can send your uh, images to selected images number one at gmail.com, preferably 2 weeks before the show. So we are in the
Too late already.
we are a little bit late already. That give Jeff, our friend Jeff, time to get everything sorted out and put everything the way he likes it. And please do send your photo by the Friday, April the 3rd. Okay. Preferably by midday so that he has a chance to put it in the schedule. So that's what I have for today, guys. So nothing else. Just to thank Luis again for fantastic presentation. We travel with you all over the world to see all these fantastic birds and love them. Every time you come along, we see something wonderful. So thank you very much, Luis.
More
Uh,
than welcome. It was my pleasure.
Let me start sharing here so that we can go to this mode and uh, close the show here pretty soon. So, any final thoughts?
no,
No,
no, it's great photography, Louis, and
Excellent pictures.
I do my best.
I
Yeah.
for
In,
sure
yeah,
you
I
have to.
didn't show you my bed pictures. That's the difference.
yeah, the week after the Calgary Stampede in Calgary, we're having the Canadian photo presentation. It's a big thing
Oh,
for Canada, so that you can come catch the last 2 days of the Stampede and stay for the rest of the week. And,
definitely you need to attend, David, and give us a.
well, I signed up today, and the prices are in Canadian dollars. So for your Americans, if you can get out of the country, you'll save some money because your dollar is bigger than ours. Yeah.
Yeah,
David,
you
And,
I've
probably
been
get out of the country, you just can't come back in without hassle.
no, you
uh,
got a better chance of getting back in because you can go through U.S. customs in Canada.
It's,
It's just to get through the TSA or whatever you call it in the
yeah.
States. They're saying 4 hours for
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
that's ridiculous because lots of flights are less than that.
exactly. Yeah.
Well,
Not
David,
all from Calgary. Like you,
well,
like
David, I've been twice in Calgary, in but I've always been in Calgary during the Stampede,
oh,
Well,
basically by chance. So I don't know Calgary without the Stampede. I don't know how it looks like.
that's
I usually leave town during the Stampede,
exactly.
but if
That's what I heard as well from other people, other Canadians.
yeah, if you're here, I'll be in town. Otherwise, I won't be.
It's,
Yeah.
all right,
Very
guys.
good.
So see you in about what is
10
it?
days.
10 days.
Yep.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye
Yep.
bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys. Thanks
Bye,
for
folks.
the help.